Hey, Wembley World Entertainment, and is Sigourney Weaver returning to the world of Alien as none other than Ellen Ripley? Because that's what apparently all the news is coming out from New York Comic Con, is that she's talked about this 50-page script so far that's been written from Walter Hill, the producer of the Alien movies. And all these articles are jumping on board saying, like, are they talking about doing a new one? She's saying now she's had conversations with Disney/Fox, but there is a key thing that none of these articles, except for the article on AVP Galaxy, is actually going to talk about, which is the fact that this 50-page treatment was given to her 5 years ago. And when she talks about having the meetings, it sounds like that happened roughly 5 years ago as well. So I'll show you what the whole interview says and what she said at Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con that is, about this, and even what Walter Hill and people have said about it as well. Because, as I said, the likes of Screen Rant and stuff are jumping all over this, saying like she's absolutely in conversations right now with Disney to come back, and that doesn't really sound like the case when you hear how it's actually explained on AVP Galaxy. So it's also the way it's worded a lot more from her whole statement compared to everywhere else that kind of just has snippets of what she said. So it says anyway, 5 years ago, Sigourney Weaver first spoke about a 50-page treatment that Alien producer Walter Hill sent her following the collapse of Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5. Not long after, Brandywine and Hill shared the title page, and we've heard nothing more about this since. So right there you hear that they sent her this treatment 5 years ago. This is when this happened, 5 years ago. And of course, as it's saying here, we've heard nothing more since, until now. Speaking during a panel at New York Comic Con, Sigourney Weaver described Hill's treatment as extraordinary and revealed that she had actually had a meeting with the powers that be about reprising her role as Ellen Ripley. Now, the way that's worded there is the part that you have to keep in mind, because it's saying she revealed that she actually had a meeting with producers and stuff like that. And the reason I'm saying keep that in mind is because that sounds like she's saying once she received that 50-page treatment 5 years ago is when she had the meeting. As opposed to when you read it on Screen Rant, which says Alien franchise veteran Sigourney Weaver addresses whether she could still return as Ellen Ripley for a new movie while at New York Comic Con. Weaver debuted as the character, blah blah blah, we know all of that. Speaking at the franchise's panel at New York Comic Con, for which Screen Rant was in attendance, Weaver revealed that Alien franchise writer and producer Walter Hill has written 50 pages of a script that catches up to the older Ripley. And then it says, though Weaver didn't originally think more Ripley stories were necessary, she did say that it's a very strong first 50 pages and blah blah blah. But they're kind of hinting that, oh, she's saying she's meeting with them now, because they say here, as for whether the project will ever see the light of day, Weaver isn't sure, but she does offer a glimmer of hope, revealing that an official meeting did take place with the studio. So you see the way they're talking about it there. She said now at New York Comic Con that she's had this meeting, where when you hear it being described from AVP Galaxy, it sounds like the way she explains it is she had that meeting where a good while ago, because even Screen Rant breaks up the way she describes things in two separate forms and not her full quote, where they put down, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I have had a meeting with Fox or Disney or whoever it is now. So this is what her full quote is from Comic-Con about this. So she said this: Walter Hill is a very good friend of mine, and he wrote 50 pages of where Ripley would be now, and they're quite extraordinary. I don't know if it's going to happen, But I have had a meeting with Fox or Disney. I've never felt the need to reprise the role. I was always like, let her rest, let her recover. What Walter has written seems so true to me, as very much about the society that would incarcerate someone who has tried to help mankind, but she's a problem for them. So she's sort of tucked away. I think it's a very strong first 50 pages. I'm thinking about working with Walter to see what the rest of the story would be. So that's her full statement. The Screen Rant story broke that up and didn't put in the part of her saying, I've had the meeting at the beginning. They seem to put it down at the very end. So it makes it sound like she's had that meeting now. And it doesn't seem to be the case. So this is saying, though details on Walter Hill's treatment for Alien 5 remain unknown, Brandywine and Hill described the treatment as a meditation of the Alien franchise and Ellen Ripley. So this is what Walter Hill said at the time, or the two of them I should say, Brandywine and Hill, saying, Sigourney, as she has from the very beginning, is being too modest about her proven ability to pull off the idea, which is to tell a story that scares the pants off your date, kicks the ass off a new xenomorph, and conducts a meditation on both the universe of the Alien franchise and the destiny of the character of Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. In typical Walter Hill and David Giller fashion, the title page we've seen previously features two different quotes, one from Edgar Allan Poe regarding dreams, and another from William, I don't know how to pronounce his middle name, Sherman, that simply states war is hell, as well as a riff on Alien's iconic tagline that, in space, no one can you dream. Yes, that's the way it's written, by the way. With how much the text on the title page talks about dreams, could that be a hint that Hill's Alien 5 would have gone down the road that Alien 3 and Resurrection were nothing more than dreams in cryosleep? So that's the article on AVP, but the part you have to keep in mind here and look at properly, which all these other articles don't seem to be saying, or at least Screen Rant's one doesn't say, is the fact that this treatment, this 50-page treatment that she received from Walter Hill was 5 years ago. So it's not like this happened only a month ago or at the start of the year or something, or, you know, right as Alien Earth came out, they handed her this. No, it was 5 years ago that this treatment was handed in. And if 5 years, if nothing has happened, it probably isn't going to happen. But with the Alien Earth series being out there and not doing particularly well, it wouldn't be out of the realm for them to try and just go back to the well and go, okay, let's bring Ripley back and put her back on the big screen. Maybe that'll bring people back. Not to mention, where would you fit this in right now at present with the fact that Alien Romulus is meant to be getting its sequel? So the waters are kind of muddied on that, but it doesn't particularly sound like she's saying the conversations are happening right now. It sounds like she had the conversation with Fox and stuff back then. And the irony is, the conversation she had with Fox back then may have actually been about the Neil Blomkamp movie. She doesn't quite specify that, because we know she was meant to be on board, as was Michael Biehn, to return for that Alien 5, which was going to retcon everything after Aliens. So you were going to have a true sequel to Aliens and Alien, where, you know, Hicks and Newt survived. But the fact that it's kind of getting mixed in with this idea that, oh, she's talking with them right now about reprising the role, doesn't really seem to be the case. But either way, would she return? It sounds like she's open to it, but at the same time, she seems to be, even though she's kind of taken every other role that's getting handed to her right now, and a lot of people are kind of saying, you know, her being in a movie used to be like a stamp of quality, and now it's the fact that she's just taking every role. It's like, the fact that she's saying, like, she doesn't really feel the need to go back to that character. It sounds like she's very much more protective of the character of Ripley and doesn't want to just do another Alien movie with Ripley for the sake of doing it. But time will tell what happens. At this stage, it doesn't look like this is going to happen, but who knows? Look at the crap happening with Predator. There's Predator here and Predator there and Predator everywhere, so why not the Alien franchise? We'll wait and see what happens. But again, keep in mind, 5 years ago was when she was handed that treatment, and it was probably 5 years ago when she had that conversation with Fox or Disney, whichever one at the time. So let us know what you think. Would you be interested in seeing Ripley return? Do you think the time has passed now and it's time to leave it alone? Let us know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.